El Karuga!
Kapla!
Kapla! Back at you.
I'm going to take this opportunity, however, to suggest that we all hail Karuga. That's all I'm saying.
Forgive me, Doctor. I'm receiving a number of distress calls. I don't doubt it.
Y'all remember to tip your waitresses. Have a mighty fine night.
If you come in peace, surrender or be destroyed. If you're here to make war, we surrender.
Both good. The important thing is I'm meeting new people.
When the appointed hour arrives, the Marauders will deactivate their cloaking devices and begin transporting Klingon shock troops directly to the landing zone.
Landing zone? Where? Tell me.
Why not? Your feeble weapons will be useless against us. We will kill all your males and take your females to mate with.
All right. Now the Federation's taking over, whether you like it or not. You people, you've been running this planet like a piecework factory. From now on, it's gonna be under one roof. You're gonna run it like a business. And that means you're gonna make a profit.
Look at these 3 words written larger than the rest, with a special pride never written before or since. Tall words, proudly saying, "We the people."
Hi, I'm Nicole DeBoer. I played Lieutenant Ezri Dax on DS9, and I welcome you to Bird O' Prey 5 channel. Hail Karuga.
Hello world, it's Bird O' Prey 5, Kapla, and welcome to Bed Life for Monday, January 22nd, 2024. Roe vs. Wade Day. Yes, that Roe vs. Wade Day. What do you do? What do you do for a day that commemorates a historic court case that's been overturned? Do you get rid of the day? Do you make it a day about the opposite of what it used to be? Maybe both, neither. Apparently both was the plan for today, as it remains Roe versus Wade Day. But it's also now the opposite. It's also the Sanctity of Life Day. Anyway, I was curious. I was curious about Roe versus Wade Day. I don't know. Maybe everyone maybe everyone else but me already knew what happened in the Roe versus Wade case. Like, I did not know that despite winning the case, the mother, the woman, had taken so long to win that she actually had to have the baby. She had to have the baby. And so what happened to the baby? What did the government track it down years later and post-term abort it? No, apparently they did not. Was it lost to time and unable to be found and tracked down? No. Apparently there was more to the story, and I found it interesting, and I will get to that if you're interested. It's not the best story ever, but It's an interesting story. I never knew I wanted to hear about until I went searching for it today. Richie Poole first in the chat within Alpaca. Welcome, Richie. Jedi Bills has got Pla, Brother Warrior, Berto Prey 5. All should hail Karoga. All should hail Karoga. Thank you, Jedi Bill. And Bill, I was thinking about the advice I was giving you earlier today. And you know what? I realized I need to follow my own goddamn advice, Bill. I need to follow my own goddamn advice. I keep trying to put out a video and I keep getting fucking overwhelmed with all the little things and all the things I tried to learn, trying to making videos easier. And every time I learn something new, now I just stop what I'm doing because it's become so hard to do a video. Videos I used to be able to put out with software that was half as useful as the software I have now on computer equipment that was, not as powerful as what I have now. I used to be able to put out videos so much better than I haven't put out video in months. I haven't put out an edited video. And I have to follow my own goddamn advice, Bill. And that's going to be, I'm just going to fucking talk into the camera or without the camera, just into a StreamYard stream with just the avatar and the voice and just say what I want to say. Okay. Later, if I want to add videos and screenshots or fancy fucking fruit flashing across the screen, whatever, I can do that. But all I need to do is say what I goddamn want to say and let the video go and speak for itself. That's the main thing. If you want to do a YouTube video, guys, gals, genderless species, all you need to do is speak into the microphone, say what you want to say, and let it speak for itself. After that, you want to get fancy, hey, that's up to you. John Araki, Krupfla, John Araki, welcome to the chat. Jedi Bill, I guess, looking for a Bird Prey 5 rant. Coming soon, but not yet. Maybe. Yvette, the lovely Yvette, says, good evening, Bird, and everyone. Good evening to the lovely Yvette. Hakeem is here in the chat, Kapla Bird, and chat, Kapla Hakeem. Mike Richards, greetings from Columbus, Ohio. Greetings, Mike Richards. Keely Chow with a 4-month friend of Karoga membership says, hashtag LFTB raid, hashtag sci-fi for me raid. Kapla, thank you guys. LFT B raid. I'm not 100% sure who that is, but let me know or I'll figure it out. And thank you, Sci-Fi for me. Kapla. Captain Fandom Nerd. Oh, Captain Fandom Nerd. No, that's, Keely Chow is also saying hello to Captain Fandom Nerd, who says hello to me. Hello, Captain. Kapla. Kapla. Thank you again, Mike Richards. Positive Candor's in the house. Says great googly moogly. Kapla, Positive Candor. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says Kapla, Gorilla. Carlo Albanese says, hi, hope everyone is as well as can be. Hail Karoga. Hail Karoga. Carlo Albanese says, we, the people, demand entertainment. Well, I hope I can. I hope I can perform. Haven't had to say that in a while. 47 Yorktown says, hello, young sir. Hello, 47. Carlo Albanese puts in the bird O'Bray, Mom O'Bray, Sis O'Bray, Nephew O'Bray, and sassy emojis with a hug. And Carlo says, hey to Jedi Bill. LDG at hashtag free the nets in the house. Throwing around those fives. Yeah. Welcome, LDG. Words and pictures says Kapla Bird. Good to hear you. Good to be here. Good to have you here. Words and pictures. LDG says, great stream last night, Bird. Had a blast. Yes, it was a very cool, fun Sunday night stream. Sunday night panel stream, open panel. I gotta say, I think that was a particularly good open panel stream as they go. I was sad to see or not see some of our channel friends, Deej and Cinnabon. I hope they are okay. Haven't seen them in a while. So if you guys see or hear from them, let them know they were missed. I did show you guys, for those who were there, Piano Dean, friend of the channel, Piano Dean. In fact, we'll bring up his channel. Piano Dean is doing some videos again, and Pop Culture Curator says, Kapla, my favorite YouTube family, bless you guys with a 30-month in a row Karogan Orphan super chat. Thank you so much, Pop Culture Curator. But Piano Dean, the guy who made several of the songs that I used to play and Anti-Tracker used to play. He did Dear Bop song, a parody of Cyndi Lauper's She Bop. I played it in full on last night's Sunday Night Bird, but unfortunately, by this morning, it had not only one copyright claim, but 2 copyright claims from the music. And even though I said, no, this is a parody, this is fair use, they immediately said, nope, no, we disagree. So it's not worth me fighting it to risk getting the channel hurt. So it is what it is. It doesn't hurt the channel. It just, if there's ads in the Sunday night stream, it's because the music company decided to put ads in. But the point is, Piano Dean is out again creating YouTube videos. So there's the link to his channel, to this video. You should go listen to the video. It's fun, but also make sure you are subscribed to our friend Piano Dean, because frankly, he deserves it. And it's been months, years since he's been putting out regular videos. So you may well have been unsubscribed from Piano Dean. And he did a lot during COVID, during the lockdown, for me, for Anti-Tracker, for all of us. And I just want to make sure we remember him, as it's easy to forget on YouTube when someone disappears for a while and then comes back. John Araki with a 99-cent super chat, and Kissing Dax. It is a good day to see Kissing Dax. Thank you, John Araki. Okay. And it was a 99-cent super sticker from John Araki. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Yvette says, Bird, not a clue what this is about. Sorry. I don't know. Oh, Roe versus Wade. In the United States, Roe versus Wade is the Supreme Court case that supposedly guaranteed a woman's right to have an abortion, although it was more of the Supreme Court case that guaranteed that women had a right to privacy that later Supreme Court case did not find existed, returning the legality of having an abortion back to the states, where one could argue it's where it should have been the entire time. And while I personally I am pro states' rights, let's put it that way. I 100% agree it should be a state's issue, and I am happy that my state has rules that govern it, but make it legal. But not, I mean, granted, it's probably one of the most legal places, easiest places to get one, but there are still some limitations. It shouldn't be just free, use as often as you want, whatever. Not Ryan Johnson says hello and kapla. Hail Karoga. Hail Karoga. Christine Hurt, kapla Christine. Hail Christine. Captain Finity. Temporis Maximus. Kapla Captain Raid. Thank you, sir. The Random Menace says greetings from the future. Overturning Roe versus Wade was an example of religious bigotry winning over personal freedoms. Kapla, Random Menace. I disagree. I don't. It's unfortunate that that's the way it looks, and I think it was a terrible decision for Republicans, of which I consider myself one, to battle this at this time. It was awful optics that now, as soon as it became, hey, yes, we got what we wanted, it's a states' right issue, that now there are so many Republicans trying to make it a federal issue to make abortion illegal, because that is not what I wanted. I wanted it exactly like it is now, a states issue. So some states, like New York, it's going to be perfectly legal, and some states, like I imagine, like maybe Texas or other states, they're going to want to keep it illegal. Well, that's between the people who live in Texas and the people who vote in Texas. And I don't want to weigh in on it any more than I want Texas weighing in on, what we do here in New York. If we want to make, if we want to make barbecue a thing that has sauce, and Texas doesn't like sauce in their barbecue, that's I don't want them saying we gotta have sauce-free barbecue. It's bullshit. So it just is. States' rights, all good. Vote for your state to do what you want it to be, and everybody's happy. Dave G. Sound says, Kapla, Karoga. Captain Finity says, yes, great Bird of Prey stream. Shiva. Thanks, LDG, for the thing. All right, that's Captain Finity got a free membership from LDG yesterday. Keely Chow says, hey, everybody, what's going on? Kapla, Keely. Carlo Albanese says, Sunday. Bird of Prey 5 might eat. The out-of-date spam Mama Prey saved for us. Tune in to find out. You know what? Next Sunday, tune in and find out. I forgot all about the spam. Keely Chow says, hello, Jedi Bill. Roll Tide. Brother Warrior. Roll Tide. John Aragi says, Mamo Prey 2024. MOP 2024. And John Aragi says, what's a frozen owl? What's a frozen owl? Keely Chow says, yes. And puts in a bunch of ducks. John Aragi says, booyah. That was for kissing ducks. Melted Copper says, good evening, everyone. Kapla. Melted Copper. Everyone was a big fan of Melted Copper's drawings yesterday during the Sunday panel stream. Melted Copper is quite the artist. Carlo Albanese says, hi, row in a boat or wade in the water. I don't know why you wouldn't want a boat. Captain Finity says, Kapla, thank you. Christine says, you're welcome to Captain Finity. Keely Chow says, all that matters is that pineapple on pizza is wrong. Melted Copper says, unless you're in Illinois, where the political agenda is do what they like and take your money. Well, I'm pretty sure that's the political agenda in all states when it comes to it. John Araki says the barbecue sauce analogy has me confused. Is Karoga for or against turning babies and orphans into barbecue sauce? We are strongly against turning orphans and babies into barbecue sauce. Strongly against. I would say at least 8 out of 10 against. Carlo Albanese says, shouldn't Americans just be one country with one law, majority rule? And if not, why not? Carlo, here's why. Because America is not one nation. We are 50 states. And literally, in our Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, it says that all the Constitution grants powers to the federal government. And the Constitution is only like 3 or 4 pages long. It is not meant, the Constitution is not meant to be a heavy lot, it's not meant to be hard to read. It's meant to be a very short document. And it spells out specifically that anything not specifically put in the Constitution, anything not in the Constitution is up to the states. So the states have to do their own laws. So in the Constitution, it doesn't say murder is illegal. It doesn't say murder is illegal. However, they expect every state to pass a law making murder illegal. Now, yes, there is federal, if you kill somebody, the FBI could arrest you because you're depriving somebody from their right to life. But in general, if you kill somebody, that's a state crime. If you attack somebody, that's a state crime. If you whatever, it's a state crime. The states make the your state police or your local city police, they're the ones that arrest you and they take you away. Okay? So that it's not that these things are legal, it's just that the punishment is created by the state. Okay? And it's not hard for the states to make the laws. They already have. The states have laws, and it's not that difficult to follow them, to live within. This way, like if you live in Alaska, okay, you need a gun. If you live in Alaska, you literally need a gun to survive. Okay, there are places where there could be grizzly bears or polar bears, and they will rip you to shreds. Okay, they have, when you go in and out of a building, you go into a fence that like a box that's fenced in on all sides, just in case there's a bear outside, and you got to go through, like 4 to 6 foot like hallway of fences to then get to the outside, just in case the bear is literally waiting outside the door of wherever you're going. You would see the bear and you could go back inside before it mauls you to death. Or you could get off a shot. Whereas if you live in a state like New York that has New York City, I can understand why, the people who live in New York State might not want to have the same gun laws as the people who live in Alaska. Okay? Or even the people who live in Texas. They have thousands of square miles of prairie or whatever they've got. They might not want to have the same gun laws as the people who live in Connecticut or New Jersey or New York or Vermont or Maryland or any other state. It makes total sense. We have different needs. Different decisions, and that's all good. I'm all happy that that's infinite diversity in infinite combinations. It's one giant country that spans coast to coast. You're not going to have the needs of everybody locally aren't all going to be the same. Jedi Bill says hello to Melted Copper, says hi back. Christine Hurt says, I disagree with nationalism. Nationalism isn't in itself bad either. You should be proud of your country. I would hope most people were proud of their countries. At the moment, I can understand people being hard to be proud of their countries, but in the long run, I would hope most people were proud. Pop Culture Curator says, I came from Cali. I disagreed about the abort state issue. They were still forcing all taxpayers to fund it, even if they disagreed with the issue. no accountability also. Now, that's a different issue. Keely Chow says, my home state of Alabama is the Illinois of the South because of Montgomery. Roll Tide. Keely Chow says, kissing Dax turns me on. That's the real important issue. Jedi Bill says, hello to Keely Chow. Roll Tide. Random Menace says, if it is not religious bigotry, what was the reasoning behind it? Because if I remember, only those arguments, what I consider hypocritical, looking at the First Amendment of your Constitution. Like I said, Random Menace, it's literally a states' rights issue. And the Constitution literally says anything not already in this document is guaranteed to the states. The states make up the rules. So just make up your rule, put it on the books. It's already been done. Every state out there already had a law about abortion one way or another. And this way the laws are in place. If you really disagree, you can start an argument in your state. You can, talk to your legislature, your state legislatures, and get the laws changed. You can maybe get it on the ballot, whatever you got to do. But it's local. It's supposed to be fairly easy to do. It's not that you've got to go to Washington. You just got to go to your local place of government, your town hall. You can get it started there with your local mayor or whatever. Christine Hurt says, I think there is not one person on the Hill that is qualified in any way to lead any population of people. Any one of us would be a better choice. That's probably true, Christine. And I often root for the meteor. I want the meteor from space to crash into the Capitol on the day of the state of the nation. Let's get them all in one room. Let's have a meteor.
That was a TV
show. It was a TV show, but not with a meteor. It was called Designated Survivor. Yeah, it was a terrorist act. No, I don't want a terrorist act. I want an act of God. We start fresh. Just send it, whatever the president, it could be even AOC. Even if it's AOC, we start fresh, we'll be fine. It won't be Schumer. John Araki says the only law is Brannigan's law. Is murder in Caroga illegal? It depends. It depends. In fact, I got an interesting court case I am going to bring up. John Araki says, Dear Bop advice, commit your crimes in international waters. That is good advice. That is good advice. Christine Hertz says, even with each of the states, they have county laws and cities have their own rules and laws. Even neighborhood associations can make rules that may be enforced by law. Yes. Yeah. I mean, states need to have state laws, but then cities can have their city laws, counties can have county laws, neighborhoods can have laws. It works. Brandon Looney Tunes fans 2000 says, what's up, Doc? What's up, Brandon? John Araki says, everyone in Chicago Roga is armed. Captain Finity says, do as thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. Melted Copper says, gun control laws just make it harder for law-abiding citizens and good guys to be armed. I agree. And Captain Finity says, thanks to marijuana prohibition, I have no respect for the law. Funny thing is, thanks to marijuana unprohibition, I have no respect for the law. Captain Finity says, thanks to vaccinate mandate, I have no respect for the government. I never really respected the government, vaccine or not. He says, enjoy your delusions. Let's see. And it jumped. International waters. What's up, Doc? Christine says, it's not that I'm not proud of Abraham Lincoln, our America, but I am not sure I'm real proud to be a human in general. And I think we need to unite as a planet. Well, I suspect we will unite as a planet the day we see we're not alone in the universe. Once we realize there's somebody else out there coming from a different round world of their own, it'll be a lot easier to look at our fellow human beings and realize we're all in this together. That said, until that time, I think having countries of our own is probably the best way we can to govern the planet. It's too big to have, it's way too big to have one nation controlling the entire planet. Again, why would laws for Alaska be of any use to people in South Africa? It doesn't make any sense. Christine says, if we humans could stop killing each other so much, I'd be proud to be human. Though I'm not sure. Yeah, well, yeah. That's a hard one, Christine. That's a hard one. The Random Menace says, but that's exactly what I'm saying. Religious freedom, including freedom from religion, is in the Constitution. And it is of constitutional rights, creating laws based on religious belief. Yeah, but you don't need to be a religious belief to say that I think it's wrong to kill a baby. You don't need religious belief to look at a sack of cells on a sonogram and realize that either is or is soon going to be a baby, and that killing it for no reason, if there is no reason to kill it, other than it is inconvenient for the mother to have a baby at that time. You're not going to tell me that that's the right thing to do. Now, I might say I'm okay with it not being my decision, because I am okay with it. I am totally okay with it not being my choice. Let it be the mother's choice. I'm fine with that. But I still think it's the wrong choice. Now, I think she should have, I think women should have the right to make that wrong choice. But you're never going to convince me that if there's no health risk to the mother whatsoever, and on top of it, that this is not her first or second, maybe this is her fifth abortion. And she just has them because she got pregnant. She doesn't want a kid. She doesn't want a baby. And, it happens 4, 5, 6 times a year. Maybe not a year, but it happens 4, 5, 6 times over her life. No, I don't think that's right. I don't think it's right. I don't know that we should make it illegal, but I'm sure as hell know it's not right. It's nothing to do with religion. It's just being a human being. Where are we? Sorry, I am triggered. Random Menace, I don't think, you might be, and I apologize, but I don't think we're on the different sides here. I really don't. Carlo Albanese says sorry. Jim's Landscape LLC says hello, Jim. Melted Copper says good evening, Jim, land of scalping. Carlo says hi. Christine Hurt says howdy to Jim. Hakeem says, I think most people would side with the aliens over humanity. Depends. What do the aliens promise? Jim's Landscape, please check out Booze in Jail Scene 1 video. And he puts in a link. Thank you, Jim. Booze in Jail Scene 1. Christine Hurt says, well, clearly humans cannot just be decent without laws to force them to. I hope one day we can evolve to that level. It's not the laws that force us to be decent. It's the risk of breaking, the risk of punishment that keeps us decent. And I would argue, though, that I'm not even sure that that's true, because let's face it, if the risk of punishment was enough to keep us decent, then we really wouldn't need laws. There would be no one breaking laws, right? Why do people break the big laws? Because they don't think they'll ever get caught, or they don't care. That's and then we make what happens. We make bigger laws, more laws, and what else are you going to do? Well, the reality is, there's nothing else you can do. You're always going to be at risk. You're always going to be at risk. And the way we live now isn't working, but nobody has anything better to say, or nobody tries to stop it. So what happens is we have laws, they're in place. Somebody breaks the laws, they get arrested, and somebody's like, we've got to stop this from happening again. So they make another law making what was already illegal more illegal, thinking that now somebody's going to really stop and think what they were doing before they do it again. When if that person had stopped and thought about the consequences, they never would have done the first thing. Carlo Albanese says, I don't think being visited by life outside of our planet would change anything. In fact, it might speed up our fight for dominance and control. Only one rule, one law, one way. That's the thing, though, Carlo. Once we realize there's life out there, some people will be more open to one planetary rule. Positive candor says it's part of our DNA to be violent. I don't, it's part of some people's DNA to be violent. We have been fighting each other since the beginning of the human race, and only now we do with wars and more severe weaponry. There's an issue here, Positive. It's easy to say that. And to an extent, it's true, but also the exact opposite. Okay? Life sucks. I mean, life is not pretty. If you look out and you see how life on this planet works, it is scary that half the animals out there are there to eat the other half. The food chain, it's scary. Okay? I mean, babies, young, the young, they're the easiest for predators to kill. Okay? Entire species are created and their entire life is running from other species. And their only hope of survival is to make more babies quicker than they can be eaten. And a species that can make babies quicker than a species above them can eat them is considered a successful species. It's terrible. It's scary. And, humans fight. And yes, we've learned to make nuclear bombs and hydrogen bombs and terrible weapons. Okay, we found ways to make chemical weapons, and we fought in trenches for years and years through the cold, through the ice, through the snow. Millions of people dying and worse, suffering. And we do this and why do men, because it was always men, why do men heed a call and go into battle to fight other men from other countries? They have nothing against each other. There's no reason that those people in those fields fighting in World War I had any reason to do so, except that they were called up by their governments to do so. And then in World War II, And now all types of, I mean, at least now, I mean, some people are fighting in their own neighborhoods. I don't say that that's a good thing, but at least I can get it. I can understand why if an enemy was coming through my town, yes, I gotta fight back. But it's far harder to understand why people would
So that the fights don't come to them.
yes, so that the fight doesn't come to their neighborhoods, I guess. But it's
All right. This is going down a bad path. But you did say something
yes, Mama, right.
about the punishment and the crime.
Hmm.
So I have a very short.
Very short, Mama, right.
Yes, Mama Frey has a very short tale to kind of lighten the mood a little bit.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. The other day, I was on the phone, video with Sis O'Prey and Nephew O'Prey. And Sis O'Prey, now remember, he's 3.5 years old. She's telling him, Nephew O'Prey, well, she didn't call him that, pick up your toys. And I don't hear anything. Now I can't see them. I'm looking at a chair at this point. They're in the other room. And I hear her tell him again. Then I hear her yell, pick up your toys. Grandma! He comes running to the phone. Why is Mommy so loud? I said, well, baby, she asked you nice to pick up your toys, and you didn't do it. He said, well, I don't want to. I said, but it is time, and Mommy said to pick up your toys. Well, what happens if I don't? As he said those words, I froze. He just caught me off guard, and I'm saying, here's a 3-year-old wanting to know what happens if he don't pick up his toys, and then he's going to weigh whether the punishment is worse than having to pick up his toys. At that point, Sis O'Prey came over, picked up the phone and said, Grandma, we'll call you later. Bye. So I never found out, but when they did call me later, he had picked up his toys and he was happy. But when I asked him about it, he said, I didn't want to. Okay. But even at 3, he's figuring out what the punishment is. I wouldn't have thought that quick at 3. I probably don't think that quick now. So now that I've ruined his dream, I'm sorry. Go back to whatever you were discussing. But it was kind of going down.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Yes. We should all get along. Now, after saying that, I'll say, everyone, have a good evening.
Thank you, Mama.
Yo.
Okay. Melted Copper says, even if all food was free, there would be a horde of complaints. Like it's all corn syrup and sugar is like cocaine. Some people just find things to be angry about over appreciating what they have. Carlo Albanese says, if the man doesn't want the child and signs a waiver before the baby is born, should they not pay child support? That's a totally different subject. And I would say, no, sorry to Deej. If the baby's being born, you can't sign away your rights. You can't sign away your rights. Professor Brainy Specs, So sounds like you have a very touchy subject today. Yeah, I guess I stepped in it. The Random Menace says, but I am not talking about inconvenience, rather about cases where the fetus was not developing or even died in the womb, and the abortion could not be performed due to the law and women died. Well, obviously that's stupid. I don't know anywhere where that actually happened, but if that did happen, then that is a miscarriage of justice. No pun intended. Okay, I'm not talking that. Obviously, should be legal. Christine Hertz says many things are part of our DNA. That does not mean we must be ruled by our DNA alone. We have minds. We should use them. Absolutely. Captain Finity says you just equated law with decency. I don't know if I equated it, but it would be nice. Christine Hurt says also appreciating something given freely, but that thing is poisonous, seems to be counterproductive. If someone wanted to give me something edible, I'd hope it'd be something healthy. Well, wait, Christine. There's a whole big difference between edible and healthy. Okay? Somebody gives you a delicious cake. That cake is not healthy, but it's a delicious cake. So there's nothing wrong with accepting a delicious cake. But, to complain because it's got, sugar and fat and delicious chocolate ice cream or chocolate icing, and it's not made of fucking kale and fucking legumes, whatever they are, beans. No, that healthy, edible, big difference. The Random Menace says, I am saying it should not be a political issue. It should be a medical decision. And I 100% agree. I 100% agree, Random Menace. But it's religious doesn't. You can be against abortion without being religious. Captain Finity says, why are psychedelics illegal in most states, but legal in some? I have no idea. But again, it's up to the states. It's up to states. It should be anyway. I do believe, though, that federal government weaseled its way in to make things illegal, right? Okay, the federal government shouldn't have a say in making marijuana legal or not. Christine says, yes, it will always be at risk. The best we can do is try to teach others and hope someday enough have learned. Melted Copper says explosives have different laws. In Illinois, it's tradition to get fireworks from out of state for the 4th of July. Random Menace says, imagine 13-year-old girl involuntarily made pregnant. Should she not have the right? Trying to avoid certain terms in the chat. That's my problem. I mean, Random Menace, I think yes, I agree with you. If certain things happen to a 13-year-old, absolutely she should have rights. Okay? That is, however, like the the bell curve, Random Menace, right? You understand what the bell curve is. You're arguing for the very edges of the bell curve. The the parts that very rarely happen. I'm more concerned with the middle 80% of the bell curve, which, you know, if you look at the number of abortions performed, most of them are not on 13-year-olds. Carlo Albanese says hi to Mama Cray, as does Professor Brainy Specs. And Melted Copper puts in a whole bunch of flowers to say hi to Mama Pray. Christine says, based on what I know of U.S. system, money talks. We should figure out who is getting profit from the change in the law, find a way to cut that profit or to make the other side more profit. I don't know that it's really about profit in this case. I think it is a religious, don't get me wrong, I understand it is a religious issue and that religious people have taken up the fight for the most part. But it's not only a religious issue, I would say. And again, in Caroga, it is still up to the woman. So I would be for states' rights, and I would be for letting the women decide it, to be completely clear. I don't really care. I mean, I care and I have my opinion, but I don't think I should get a final say. Don says, hello, Bird, Mamo Pray, and all. Hope everyone's weekend was well. See, this is what, you know, and Kapla, Don, thank you. Like, I don't like when people argue about abortion and they try to make it a men's versus women's thing. Like, you know, even if women were the only people that had to fight over abortion, it would still be a problem because there are just as many women who are pro-life as there are men. It's not that women are being forced to have abortions or not have abortions because of men. It doesn't work like that. That's not how it breaks down. There are plenty of pro-life women. There are plenty of pro-life women. If it was only a women's issue, you would still have the same people fighting. Professor Brainy Specs says, Mamo Pray, have a beautiful evening. And Gorilla says, thanks to Mamo Pray. Bradley Briggs, his smart kid, took me until I think I was around 12 before I started questioning punishments. I remember the first time I laughed at getting spanked. Christine Hertz says, if I don't pick up toys, someone might trip over them. It says, sorry, I'm behind. Don't worry, Christine. I am way behind. Christine Hertz says, hello, cute story. I guess to me, it'd be more of a frame of mind thing. As a kid, I've been thinking, what happens as in anything, not so much punishment. Gorilla's Random Thoughts says, random, there's no law against those situations. Professor Brainy Specs says, I think there should be a medical decision if it's a medical issue or problem, and a political decision when there is no health concerns involved. The Random Menace says, nothing wrong with kale. Nothing wrong with kale. Bradley Briggs is really poor subject. Like, does the father have any choice in the decision? Christine Hurd says, but if I'm poor, I would hope people giving free food would realize poor people need vitamin and protein-rich foods, right? Not like stuff that's possibly going to cause heart problems. Melted Copper says, if the ladies then choose to kill a pro-choice thing, would the men can waver out of the kid too? Seems like letting go of someone else's money isn't a pro-choice topic like they want to hear. Professor Brainy Speck says, if a crime is committed, then it should be up to the victim what happens with the pregnancy. The Random Menace says, and are the edges of the curve not humans? Don't they deserve rights too? Yes, they deserve rights too, and I would give them rights. Christine Hurt says, a friend gave her child up for adoption. She was not sure who the father was. 2 men were the possible fathers, so both signed off on the adoption papers. Christine Hurt says, every person on the Hill, regardless of who they claim they represent, or if they claim religious piety, is only interested in power and money. Hakeem says, I say it depends on the situation. I know a girl that had 5 abortions before she was 30. It was like she had a punch card that gave her a free coffee on the 6th one. Christine says, Bird, I really love the background you have on. Thank you, Christine. I need to figure out a background for my videos. I'm new to making fancy things like that. Well, I'm using OBS Studio. OBS Studio, and it has the tools you need to make something like this. Although, to be honest, StreamYard kind of has the same thing built in, and you don't need to use OBS Studio to do a StreamYard version of this. Carlo Albanese says, would the child be better off not being rather than going through? Okay, right here. So here's what put me down this path today. Like I said, it is Roe versus Wade Day. Okay. And I was reading this, and it said Roe versus Wade Day is celebrated on January 22nd, the anniversary of the court case that gave women agency over their bodies. The U.S. Supreme Court made a ruling that legalized abortion throughout the country, with variations from state to state depending on the length of the pregnancy. It says, no matter what your opinion is on the controversial abortion debate, Roe versus Wade Day marked a pivotal turn in U.S. history. The anniversary of the landmark court decision is celebrated by people everywhere, especially by women. And already I was cringing at that, because once again, it's the issue. You can go and look it up. It's even amongst men and women. If you took men and women, if you took men out of the formula, you would still have a battle, because about half of women are pro-choice and half of women are pro-life. Unfortunately, you can see here that they are not being dispassionate here. Unfortunately, on Friday, June 24th, 2022, the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade. The landmark piece of legislation made access to abortion a federal right in the United States. The decision to dismantle 50 years of legal protection paved the way for individual states to curtail or outright ban abortion rights. Okay, and it's true. That's all true. Then we get the history of Roe versus Wade Day. I'm not going to read it all, but there's something I do need to read. In 1969, a 21-year-old woman named Norma McCorvey discovered she was pregnant with her third child. Norma wanted to abort the child, but faced difficulties due to Texas law. At first, she wanted to follow the advice of some friends who told her to claim the pregnancy was the result of forced sex, surprise sex, believing that Texas law allowed abortion cases in those cases. However, at the time, Texas law only allowed abortions if it could save the life of the mother. So she also attempted to get an illegal abortion, but the facility had been closed down by police. The frustrations Norma faced are reminiscent of a lack of agency women had over their bodies before Roe versus Wade case, where women had to lie or break the law and have a choice whether to keep an unwanted baby. So it was so awful, right? Norma went to 2 attorneys in help in 1970. The attorneys filed suit on behalf of Norma under the alias Jane Roe. After the first round of arguments, all 7 justices of the court agreed the law should be struck down, but on varying grounds. However, Justice Harry Blackmun proposed the case be re-argued, and on October 11, 1972, the case was again argued before the Supreme Court. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so it was re-argued. The Texas abortion ban was struck down as unconstitutional, an invasion to privacy. Now, this is the line that got me, and I saw stars. Unfortunately, the case dragged on for so long that Norma McCorvey gave birth, and the child was put up for adoption. Listen, I understand that this was a Supreme Court case to deal with the future, but do not say, unfortunately, the case dragged on so long that a beautiful baby, healthy baby was born and given to parents, loving parents that wanted it. Okay? The baby was born healthy. The baby was adopted immediately by loving parents. That baby grew up never knowing she was the baby Roe. It wasn't until later in life that her mother wanted to track her down to make money hoping that the daughter that she gave away would be down for making money off the deal. She wasn't. By the way, the mother who gave her up later herself became pro-life, although by all accounts she was not a particularly she was not a human being you probably wanted to in your life. But yeah, so you're saying, unfortunately, yeah, that unfortunate that it took too long to that they couldn't abort this woman, that her life happened. Okay, that's the I saw stars. I saw fucking stars. I don't want to go out on the fucking corner and be somebody who says, God says, wants you to cry over the fact that you had an abortion. I don't want to be that person. I don't even care that much about it in general because I know it's not my issue. But Jesus Christ, people, don't write unfortunately. Unfortunately, she had to have the baby. And that baby is a person. And that person is a human being who had a life, has a life. And this was not that the mother's life was in danger. There was no danger. There was nothing. It was just convenience. I'm sorry. It pisses me off. It pisses me off. Jedi Bill. Thank you so much, Jedi Bill, with a 34-month Friend of Karoga membership chat. Says, thank you, Kapla, Berto Pray 5, for being an awesome channel. I appreciate that, Bill. I imagine there's a lot of people I've upset today. And I apologize for upsetting you. I'm upset too. Very Christine Hurt says, a friend gave her child up for adoption. She was not sure who the father was. Oh, I read that. We're past that. Pop culture curator says child support is given to the states by the feds. The state charges a second time to the father, double dipping greed. Random Man says, one time we did not put away our toys. We were collecting those 4 floors down. My mom simply opened the window and threw the toys out. Since then, we did not need reminders. Melted Coppers is really modern medicine. Condoms, day after pills, might of pills heading to Chop Shop is entirely avoidable.
But it wasn't back then.
Well, it wasn't back then, but now, Professor Brainy Specs says the randomness. I hope I didn't further trigger you. Christine says, oh, thank you, Bird. Pop culture curator says, I wouldn't be against abortion if Planned Parenthood didn't harvest and sell the fetuses. Bradley Briggs says we should be able to talk about this like civilized people, and we are so far, so it's not, and we are so far, which is nice to see. It is, Bradley, I grant you. I know it's an uncomfortable topic, and I don't like dealing with it, but I'm happy no one has, completely flipped out. Pop Culture Curious says there are millions of welfare moms who count their profits by how many kids they have. Yeah, that's also not good. But I don't say abortion is the solution. Dan Ben, hello Dan Ben, kapla. Don says, gee, I missed Texas. And he says, thanks to Mama Pray. Arabic Saunders says, kapla bird, kapla Arabic. Random Menace says, Professor Brainy Specs, not at all. I am actually not a fan of abortion, but I also hate the idea that politicians without medical degrees are deciding about medical issues. I agree. Don says, this evening marks the season 2 premiere of the Fox revival of America's Most Wanted, marking John Walsh's triumphant return as a host with his son Callahan co-hosting. The manhunt continues. Interesting. Christine Hurd says, while I agree it's a joyous occasion that the baby was born healthy and given to a loving family, the cost was that the mother went through a very traumatic experience. Just one perspective. Well, the mother went through that traumatic experience twice before. This was the third baby the mother gave up. The first 2, she was okay getting adopted away. The mother had had 3 babies before. They were both given up for adoption. The mother was in a, not that it matters, but at the time, the mother was in a lesbian relationship with someone significantly older than her. And they were painters or something. No, it's weird though, huh? Christine says, I don't know what the writer of the story meant. Yeah, probably any opinion from a journalist is a bad idea. Carlo Albanese says, unfortunately, adoption can be just as bad or worse than staying with a struggling mother. Unfortunately, I know a couple that had horrible times in care and adopted parent. Only one had a good life. I'm sorry to hear that. The multi-gun man says, hey, Bird, how's it going? About as well as you could expect on a day where we're talking about abortions. Hakeem says, I bet she doesn't think it's unfortunate, but a blessing she got to live. Carlo Albanese, just to anyone who needs one, a hug. Thank you, Carlo. Don says, what could possibly go wrong? Christine says, yeah, I don't know why the writer of that story thought their own opinion inserted was a good idea. The Random Menace says, let me be a prick. But even the Bible says that life begun with the first breath, specifically Genesis 2:7. Well, since I don't care so much what the Bible says, it doesn't really matter. Clearly, life begins at somewhere along the way. Christine says she was assaulted. That's not inconvenient, and it does affect the mother painfully when she has to deal with how the child came to be. She wasn't assaulted. It was a lie. She told that first because she thought that if she said she was assaulted, it would be legal to get an abortion. She was never assaulted. The baby Roe was not the result of forced surprise sex. Christine says, sorry, I'm trying not to say certain words. I understand, Christine. I appreciate that. But the story, you can look it up. It was consensual. Carlos is difficult subject with no clear answers. It's hard when so much feelings are involved. Something has so many variables. Each situation is different. Jedi Bill says, we love you and your channel. Thank you, Bill. Positive Candor says, you want proof that we are all violent? Then if you play a first-person shooter game, you are violent. From Doom to Call of Duty, Halo, etc. First-person shooter taps into our need to destroy. I disagree fully, Positive Candor. And there are so many games that involve violence, but they're games. You know, we can tell the difference. It's like playing laser tag. Because we play laser tag, that then we're violent people. That's in our DNA. No, I disagree. Professor Brainy Specs of the Random Menace, that specifically was talking about Adam, who was not born of a woman. I don't think you can use that reference. Christine Hertz says, I play jungle. What did I? It jumped. I play puzzle games and match 3 games on my phone. I've tried to play some of my friends' games like Diablo. Never enjoyed those. Dan Ben had an interview on the radio where this lady who chose to have a child because she had enough money to raise it, turned out she's having twins. Not enough money to raise them. Melded Cobb says, it's nice to see John Walsh enjoying his life with a new son. As a kid, I thought that guy was going to go to Frank Castle, the Punisher. Christine Hertz says, oh, sorry, I missed the part about her having had other babies before, but they weren't from being assaulted. None of her babies were from being assaulted. Christine Hertz says, my grandpa was a painter. He painted buildings inside and out. The Random Menace says, Professor Brainy Specs, I am just saying if somebody is creating laws based on religion, is it valid argument? What is surprising, incest is also illegal, despite there were Adam, Eve, and 3 sons. Well, from what I've heard, there were others too. So I don't know how it works, but apparently there were more. Don says hello to Random Menace. Random Menace says, hey, greetings to Don. Dan Ben says, Bird of Prey 5, are you not religious? Because I remember watching you live tell us your favorite book of the Bible. I'm not particularly religious, but I do have a favorite book of the Bible being Ecclesiastes. because my fraternity in college had a Bible passage that was the official motto. Ecclesiastes 9:10, whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might. It's supposed to be for engineers, working with your hands, whatever it is you do it the best you can. Do your best. So Ecclesiastes is my favorite book of the Bible, just because it has Ecclesiastes 9:10. Christine Hertz says, I understand the Bible is basically a series of parables inspired by God. If that's true, the first breath might mean the first moment the fetus begins to process O2. Red blood cells contain O2. Could be. But again, that was also about God breathing life into Adam. So I don't know if it counts. Melted Copper says the Bible says about Adam and Eve were just the first people. Their kids left the Garden of Eden to find wives, meaning there were others out there. Yes, that's what I've heard too. That's what I heard too. Where did the others come from? I don't know. Christine Hertz says babies are already breathing within the womb. Professor Brainy Specs, the random menace. Incest is another scenario. Adam was not born from a pregnant woman, so you can't use that. Okay. Christine says, thank you for explaining the woman not being assaulted. Melted Cow says, I guess playing sword fights and wrestling. I wanted my family dead. I never do. Meant I wanted my family dead. Pop Culture Curator says, nobody mentions the trauma the father goes through when he has no choice and the mother has 100% control over aborting the baby. Not fair. Trauma if she aborts without father's opinion allowed. That's a whole other issue. Yes, that deserves to be talked about, but not tonight. Christine Hurt says, we had a family down the street. When we were little, they had 13 kids. One day we found a bird egg on the ground and tried to put it up in its nest. The older girl took it and threw it away. Akeem says, I played first-person shooter games all the time, not violent. It depends on how the game affects the individual. Some people take it to another level and more game for them, but they are nuts. Christine says, maybe that's why I've been less violent. I don't know. My mother was violent towards me. That probably made me not want to be that way. I'm sorry to hear that. Deej, here's Deej. Deej says, I walk in and it's Bible talk. Did Salty take over? Yeah. You missed the child support discussion, Deej. Just be lucky. The Random Menace is Professor Brainy Specs. I can go more absurd. Eve came from Adam's rib, so she was a transgender clone. So the sons were clones too. There are gaps in the story. Evolution sounds more plausible. Bradley Briggs is Bible talk. Oh, listen a bit more and read. The subject will scare you. Deej says, hey to Bill. Random Menace says, Deej, I started it. Deej Odyssey says, I'm scared of nothing. Carl Albanese says, Adam and Eve were the first with the consensus. Don says hello to Dan and Deej. Deej says, hey to Don Don. At least Bird isn't talking about Adam and Steve. And Deej says he doesn't owe any. Melted Coppers is the answer. If the lady removes your son, you wanted it, answers what to do with her, dump her and move on. Her bad choice might be good for you ultimately. Oh my God. Wow. Okay. So let us head back to, okay, well, there was another story. We're not going to do it tonight. I will hold that for Friday. We've already talked a lot today. But also today, Celebration of Life Day, Community Manager Appreciation Day, National Blonde Brownie Day. It just looks like chocolate chip cookies. Answer Your Cat's Question Day. Your kitty has questions, and today is the day to be answering them. Yosef, hashtag more cats for Yosef, hashtag answer your cat's questions today. Better Business Communication Day, Come In From the Cold Day, National Grandpa Day, which made me sad to think my grandpas, one I met, one I never did. Sad to think about Charlie and the grandpa he never got to meet. National Hot Sauce Day, National Polka Dot Day, National Sanctity of Human Life Day, and of course, Roe versus Wade Day, but we've already been down that road. And so let's go check in the Dear Bops, because obviously I'm sure we've got some today. Melted Copper says the answer to, I read that. Christine says, when you live stream and let it create captions based on what you say, it gets it wrong a lot of sometimes in ways YouTube might not like. Yeah, it's once the stream is over, YouTube reprocesses it and does a better job. Deej says hashtag more cats for Yosef. Melted Copper says, sorry, was my advice cold? I felt it made logic sense. No, nothing to be sorry about, Melted Copper. Carla Albanese says, yet, cat, I'll get you some more food. 47 Yorktown, hashtag more cats for Yosef. Professor Brainy Specs says, a random menace. I am just saying you're trying to cite something to prove a point that doesn't fit the situation. Melted Copper puts in a bunch of cats. Random menace rolling on the floor laughing. The cats do not have that many questions. They rather judge us. Melted Copper says cat scratch fever. And Christine says, oh, good. You are welcome. Okay, so it is Dear Bop time. Dear Bop, you were clearly an awesome dancer. What was your favorite song to dance to? Oh, well, obviously you guys see me dancing in the opening of every stream. I would dance to whatever was playing. But my favorite dance was, of course, a slow dance. At the end of the night, you had your arms around the woman you brought to the dance, and you're nice and close, and just staring into each other's eyes, and yeah, maybe some Frank Sinatra. It's the last dance, and you're just dancing to that, arms around each other. That's good. That'd be my favorite dance. Honestly, the rest of the other dancing, it's too much work. I get tired. I mean, don't get me wrong, when I was 20 or 22, I could keep up for a while. But as I was getting closer to 30, I much preferred the slow dances to that crazy, constant fucking bumping of. Yes, Mama, pray.
You did pretty well in Vegas on your 30th birthday at that whatever show. Well, wasn't the show, it was whatever it was.
What dancing are you talking about?
You were dancing. Your friend had the fedora on her head. You guys were dancing. We were upstairs. We went to
The
dinner show or something, but they played music and you danced.
dinner show, the Sopranos show?
That's where it was, the Sopranos.
Oh.
Somebody's.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Oh, I do.
Mama Pray says I was dancing at my 30th birthday. I remember dancing at the piano bar, but I don't think you were there. Yeah, you weren't there for that.
It was somewhere I was.
The Random Menace is Bird Pray 5. The music Bird was dancing to in the video is Conga by Miami Sound Machine. Deej says arms around the woman brought to the dance. That meant she drank way too much and he is taking her to the car. Listen, that happened quite a few times. Christine Hertz is also, my cats ask me, when am I going to make the weather nice enough to go outside again? Deed says, cats prove Earth is round, or everything would have been knocked off by now. Christina says, my cat's question, where are all the cat treats? And when are you going to Brushman? Stanley says, did Bird use to put the cardboard on the ground to get down? No. Dancing is good exercise. It was, Professor. It was. Melted Copper says, we can dance, or if you want to, we can have this world behind. If your friends don't dance, they ain't no friend of mine. I bet Mama Pray like La Bamba, says Deej. Melted Copper says, Bird is a New York guy. He killed it with the break dancing. It was the 80s. Stanley says, Deej Odyssey, but this isn't a forbidden dance. It is, Stan. Nice. Dear Bob, is it considered unethical to ask people to put one of your playlists on before bed so it can bump up my watch hours? It's not unethical. You should ask people to do that. In fact, I'm surprised I never thought to do it. Dear Bob. Oh, yeah. 205 donated $2.49 and got kissing Dax. 205 says, thank you and the chat for putting up with my provocative and ridiculous comments today. You are always welcome to have ridiculous and provocative comments. And Kissing Dax agrees. Kissing Dax makes it all good. Dear Bob, I need prayers and good vibes. I have a meeting with the bank today, and if it goes well, I'll be completely out of debt. I am so giddy, I can barely put my ski mask on. You son of a bitch. You had me. You had me. I was so happy. Oh, God damn it. You got me. You got me. It was a good one. I need prayers and good vibes. I have a meeting with the bank today, and if all goes well, I'll be completely out of debt. I'm so giddy, I can barely put my ski mask on. Oh, God. God damn it. Melted Copper says, cue the ABBA dancing queen. Stanley says, I won't dance. Don't ask me. I won't dance. Don't ask me. I won't dance, madam, with you. He says, lambada? Lambada? Lambada. Dan says, dance the right way. Dance the night away. Stanley says, my heart won't let my feet do the things that they should do. Oh, yeah, says Carlo. Jeff B says, Kapla Bird, handle the tough topic with grace. Thank you. I don't know about grace, but thank you. Stanley says, I'm like an ocean wave that's bumped on the shore, feel so absolutely stumped on the floor. Donald Frey, did you hear this?
What?
Dear Bob, I need prayers and good vibes. I have a meeting with the bank today, and if all goes well, I'll be completely out of debt. I'm so giddy, I can barely put my ski mask on. Got her too. Got her too.
Okay. If it works, send some this way.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
2 for 1. Okay. Dear Bob, did you hear Trump offer Vivek a spot in his cabinet? He will be running the White House 7-11. I don't know who or what Vivek is.
Is that Haley?
Haley? Nikki Haley?
Isn't she from the Middle East?
She Indian? I don't know.
I think.
I have no idea.
I-
Doesn't matter. I still don't get what.
What?
Oh, because like an Apu joke? Carl Albanese says either way, they won't have to worry about money for the next few years. Melted Copper says, I usually slide music notes in when quoting songs. The Random Menace says, Deej, he does not know La Bamba. La Bamba. Isn't that the song? La La Bamba. La La Bamba. Lambada. I am throwing in the towel, says Random Menace. Deed says, I'm throwing in the towel too. I'm throwing in my bowels. Dan Ben says, just want to dance the night away with senoritas who can sway right now. Deej is shaking his head, and Carlo Albanese has the mama pray emoji. La Bamba, La Bamba. I know I've heard the song. La La Bamba. I know you're putting fucking spaces between the letters, Deej. Lambada. Lambada? Labada? I've never heard Lababa. Labada? Lambada? Lambada? Lay? Lab? Lab? Lambada. Lambada. La Mbada.
Yeah.
Lambada.
KLA. Move the M over.
Lamb.
No, not lamb. Ma.
La.
Mamba.
Why would it be Mamba? That's not Mamba. There's nothing between the M and the B. La Mbada. La Mbada. La Bamba. That's what I'm talking about. It's called La Bamba. But I don't understand. Oh, the Random Menace says La Bamba and Lambada are two different songs. Well, I've never heard of Lambada. It was a movie. I don't know what. Dan Ben puts in a link to Lambada, which I will have to watch after this stream because I'm calling it here. Thank you guys very much for the stream. I appreciate you hanging out with me. I gotta go. I'm hungry and I'm getting tired. It's the Forbidden Dance, says Jedi Bill. I will have to take. I thought La Bamba was the Forbidden Dance, but Kapla all. Thank you, and I will talk to you soon. Bird out. Bamba.